to everyone who wants to be free. This channel is for you. Tech is the new tyranny. The reason I created this channel is to help people to be able to use technology to their advantage in the struggle against Orwellian tactics by the government, by corporations out there, and by mobs of people around you. So the reason I named this channel Outsmart Big Brother is, for the first part, outsmart, which is basically to gain a competitive advantage over another by using your brain. And the second part, Big Brother. Big Brother, obviously, for those who are familiar with George Orwell's book 1984, know that Big Brother refers to some entity some collective that infringes on the individual rights of people through spying, censorship, manipulation, and control. So some examples of Big Brother would be the United States NSA, which spies on Americans and people around the world without their consent and without a warrant either. And then there's the CCP, Chinese Communist Party, obviously. North Korea as well is very oppressive of individual liberties as well, and there are many examples of history as well, like Nazi Germany, Communist USSR, Castro's Cuba, etc., which were very repressive of individual liberties. And so that's for government. Then there's also big tech, which is like Google, Facebook, Amazon, all these corporations, and like with Jordan Peterson getting suspended from Gmail, and Parler being booted off of AWS, all of these things, and many more examples like that. These are private companies, like Google, Facebook, Amazon, etc. These are private companies, and they do have a right to write their own terms of service. But we, as the users, also have a right to explore the alternatives. And that's one of the things that I hope this channel will help to create value for you for. Because there are a ton of alternatives to the things that we often take for granted as needing to come from a big tech company. A lot of people think, for example, that, if they don't have Windows or Mac, then they have nothing, when that is far from the case. In fact, I'm recording this video and doing basically everything for this channel from a Linux machine. And for those of you who are not familiar with Linux, you can either, look up some stuff to read on it, or you can wait for me to put out a video on that in the future. If you want me to do that, put that down in the comments below for me to do that. And spoiler, a lot of these alternatives to the big tech companies are absolutely free, kind of non-profit type community efforts as well, which is also kind of a nice thing as well. And then another element of Big Brother, especially with 2020 and early 2021 that we're going into now, is big mobs as well. So, there are examples like Antifa, neo-Nazi groups, BLM, Proud Boys, the Capitol rioters, religious extremists, you name it. Basically any collective that is out to do harm to other people, to violate the rights. And regardless of your political views, you should not be facing violence for those views. Ballots, not bullets, so to speak. So it's important, very important, to recognize that mature and well-functioning societies handle things through peaceful means. And that's something that I'm a big proponent of, is using peaceful means to accomplish stuff wherever possible. Tolerance is a very important part of that, because even if you disagree with somebody, that's not really a legitimate reason for shooting them. However, with a lot of mobs out there, intolerance is one of the main features of a lot of these groups. And so that can be an issue for us to overcome. And so we need to be able to use technology to help protect ourselves from that form of Big Brother as well, because if you're attacked by a mob because of your beliefs, because of your views, because of your expression, or if you have your privacy violated by some people who are motivated by the mob mentality, then you need to learn how to use technology in a similar way. You need to learn these skills as well, because the mobs can take the form of Big Brother as well, and stifle speech, and invade privacy, manipulate, control, all of these terrible things. And so, if rights are not secure for the underdog now, then how can you be confident that your own rights will be secure in the future if you find yourself in the position of the minority? So Big Brother is basically any collective that attempts to violate the rights of the individual through spying, censoring, manipulating, and controlling. And we need to outsmart him. We need to outsmart Big Brother. And we must outsmart him. And we have the technology to do it. We just are not trained in it enough to accomplish all the stuff that we should be able to. That's part of what this channel is about, is to help educate you to use a lot of this stuff that you may not have known even existed before this point. And while I'm talking about it, I might as well give a shout out to the countless individuals who have put in their time and effort in order to help make these technologies a reality, like Linus Torvalds with Linux, and Satoshi Nakamoto and the cypherpunks with encryption, Bitcoin, all that stuff. We really are standing on the shoulders of giants here in the technical space of privacy and security. Once you learn about free and open source software, download some, use some, it opens up a whole new universe of opportunities for you. Because a lot of the things that you took for granted, like having to use Photoshop in order to edit photos, you find out that it can be done for free and that you can cancel your subscription. And that's what I did. And it was very liberating to find out that there are people out there who do this basically just out of the goodness of their heart to create this stuff and make it available to everyone. So really quick about me, I'm going to give you a short bio. My name's Jonathan McCormick, and I'm a college dropout entrepreneur. I graduated high school with perfect grades, and then went to college as a political science major, and eventually decided that that was a waste of my time, since I could learn basically anything I wanted for absolutely free or close to free on the internet. And as Elon Musk said, you can learn anything you want for free. So while I was in college, I downloaded an app on my phone to learn to code. And I did one lesson, thought, oh, that's not so bad, I think I'll do the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. And pretty soon I was able to type in stuff and get stuff back that I wanted. And that itself opened up a whole new world for me of coding and being able to create stuff out of electrical signals in a computer. It's very amazing what you can do with a computer once you know how to use it. And I hope that this channel helps you to have a lot of those moments as well, where you realize that you can accomplish far more with these technologies than you once thought you did. And so just to give you a taste of what that was like for me, I can walk you through one of the very first things that I coded up with the Python programming language. And so to show you a little taste of what one of those first experiences was like, coding something up for myself, let me show you how I coded up a very basic print statement in the Python programming language. So in your browser of choice, you can type in pythonsandbox.com. And this is one of the fastest ways for an absolute beginner to get started with coding, in this case with Python. And yeah, Python is, as far as coding languages go, it's a very easy one to learn. So here we have a print statement. So actually, I'm just going to go from the very, very beginning. Let's do that. So type in print Okay, so what this thing does is it takes what you put into it, and in this case you need to have these things, the whatever they're called, quotation marks. And they can be basically either double quotation or single quotation marks. Just make sure that it's consistent for each thing. So you can type in whatever you want in here. So what I typed in was, I believe it was, I am Jonathan McCormick's computer. Okay. And now, press that, and boom! You have just written some code. Like, this is amazing. Like, even though it was something very small and basic, but it was a start for you. And so, welcome to the world of coding. If you so choose, you can continue to learn some awesome stuff and do some awesome things with computer code. I highly recommend it for those who are interested. So when I did that first baby step, that first print statement, I realized that I could actually do this thing. I could actually get into the technical fields. So I continued to watch video tutorials on programming, doing exercises on my computer as well, and building some projects. In the process, with my computer science knowledge and skills, I realized that I can do far more for the cause of freedom now with the technical skills than I was able to do before entering the technical fields. So every political organization needs people with some degree of technical skills. I mean, come on. You can have absolutely fantastic ideological positions, well thought through, have a lot of evidence for that, but still not be effective at changing hearts and minds because you haven't mastered the technology that you need to get yourself there. And that's one of the things that you need, is being able to take that message and give it to people in a way that's accessible. So even though I'm very new to the tech space, I'm on my way up, and that's what matters. And I invite you to join me on this journey of self-education, of learning, of growth. And together, we can help each other to outsmart Big Brother. So my first challenge to you this week, of course, is to please like, share, and subscribe to this channel so that you get all of our new content every week when it comes out, and maybe a few bonus ones in there as well. By the way, I'm on a diverse range of social networks, so if I ever get deplatformed on one, be sure and look for me on another. You can find a list of all those things at my website, outsmartbigbrother.com. So my second challenge to you this week is to do one thing to educate yourself about how to outsmart Big Brother. It can be reading an article about privacy tech online. It can be watching one of Rob Braxman's tech videos. It can be anything you want. But do one thing this week to learn, or at least help yourself learn, how to outsmart Big Brother. So please let me know which thing you're learning in the comments section down below. I would love to see it. And for the record, if I ever find dirt on Hillary Clinton, you know what I mean, then please continue this fight without me. We have the tools that we need to outsmart Big Brother. It's just that most of us have no clue how to use them. And so that's what this channel is about, is helping people learn how to use these technologies, what they're useful for, what their limitations are. And as Ayn Rand wrote in her book, Atlas Shrugged, do not let the hero in your soul perish in lonely frustration for the life you deserved, but have never been able to reach. Check your road and the nature of your battle. The world you desired can be won. It exists. It is real. It is possible. It is yours. And even though the setting of this quote is fictional, I think the message of it is very applicable to our time right now. The future really is what we make of it. Yes, there are setbacks and tyrants out there, But if we are smart about it, we can rise above these things. Have a great weekend, everyone.